reason why they started really creating content. What advice do you have for your fans?
I mean, it's tough. I think it's getting harder to succeed in the world of, like, to build a career in the world of social media. I just think it's getting harder because there are more and more people trying to figure out how to make a career out of being on social media, whether it's YouTube or any of the other platforms. And I think what's required is to be something fresh, be something new as a way to stand out. And whether that's genre specific or what your voice represents, but I think one of the biggest detriments to new creators on YouTube is they pick out another creator that they like and they say, I want to be just like that. And the trouble is, like, nobody likes a photocopy.
Right.
So it's tough, and I think that in such a competitive environment, if you don't represent something new and fresh to the audience, it's hard to find your footing. So that's where I'd always start.
And do you think it's flattering that people kind of emulate your style, or?
Yeah, I don't think it's unique to me. I think that when you're starting out, you look around to what you like. Yeah. When I was a kid, you know, I looked to like Spike Jones and Laurdiy. I thought those guys were like really brilliant. They were making like really weirdo homemade music videos. I was like, I can do that. So like that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to create like that. I think that that's sort of the nature of inspiration. Every iteration. But if you don't bring something fresh to that iteration, then it's hard to be recognized.
Totally, makes sense. So, like I said, we had some incredible fans in the audience today. What do you love about these guys?
I mean, my favorite thing is that everybody's holding up a camera. There's so many cameras, and I love that. Like, I think that especially younger people, just doing it is the only way to figure it out. See? I appreciate that. But and seeing that, I think, is really motivating for me. Seeing people want to create, that are creating, it's the only way that they can then find their voice, that they can find sort of what it is that they uniquely bring to the platform. Yeah, I love seeing that.
Do you have any crazy stories about fan interactions?
Crazy is a fine line when it comes to fan interactions. No, because I love meeting people and I always say hi to everyone. And I think for the most part, like, I have a particularly respectful, polite audience to my stuff. I think that a lot of my audience are people who are aspirational creators themselves.
Totally.
So a lot of the interactions is mostly, they're not similar from this view.
Absolutely.
How do I succeed on YouTube?
Well, I am a fan, so...
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. What's one thing that your fans don't know about you?
Oh, God. Well, something that I just learned about myself 2 days ago is that my appendix is all messed up. So I doubt that they know that. Yeah, that's it. Everything else is already out.
Yikes. Yeah. To business, yeah. Obviously, being CNN, you've had an incredible run these past couple years with creating your own startups. You have the incubator that you're working on, creating projects, and where do you see yourself?
Well, I mean, for me, it's always like, I like to do whatever it is that excites me, whatever my passions may be, and I think that there's a parity between creating content and movies and making companies, starting companies, building businesses. And I think those two have a really special relationship. The reason why I started the blog 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever that was because I had just started a company, and it was such a unique experience for me that I wanted to share that experience via a blog. And that hasn't really changed. So, you know, like right now I have a new technology company that I'm starting, I haven't announced yet. I've got 368, which is a media company, incubator. And those are the things that take up, I think, more of my time even than making content right now, but they're very exciting to me. And most content that I'm creating right now is just a way of sharing with my audience what I'm up to in the business.
Speaking of taking up your time, how do you balance work and family life? And you have another one on the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
I'm pretty excited about that whole situation. Balance is tricky, but I say that I don't think people believe me. I don't have any friends. I don't hang out with my friends. I don't socialize. I don't party. I don't drink or do drugs. I don't do anything. I spend time with my family. I like to work, to run, and there's nothing else in my life really besides those things.
That's awesome.
It keeps your priorities aligned.
It does. You're laser focused.
Yeah, I'm laser focused.
Would you like to sit here?
I like that.
Would you like me to move?
Where are all these people coming from right now?
Okay.
Oh, China.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
how's it
gonna go
going?
closer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wow, great. This is
I'll
awesome.
move over.
So there's been so many iconic Casey Neistat videos over the years. You know, whether you're creating a drone that's carrying you, or you know, being pulled through the streets of New York on a snowboard on the back of a car. What's been your favorite? Do you have a favorite video?
I mean, my favorite videos are always the videos that I make about family, because I don't know. As I get older, my YouTube catalog becomes like a photo album,
Right.
and I'm able to go back through my life and see all the things that I did, and like that's really satisfying to me. But certainly, like snowboarding in New York City.
Yeah, that was insane.
Like a story. Have you guys? Hey, it's Shannon. Hey, Shannon. Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt my talk to say hi to you, but how's it going? That snowboarding in New York City movie, have you guys all seen that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. That movie seems like this beautiful accident, like it just happened to snow, and I was just happy to be like, hey, let's go skiing. That movie took like 3 years of planning, including keeping a really unnecessary huge Jeep in a garage in New York City for 3 years just waiting.
You just had it in storage?
Yes, and in fact, a year earlier, we were supposed to get this huge storm, and I planned everything to shoot the video then, and the storm never came.
Oh my God.
But no, like Jesse being in town, like having a crew on standby, everything was planned.
So you had this idea 3 years in advance?
No, I had the idea like 15 years ago. Because it had snowed out in like 2002. I snowboarded behind a pickup truck all around New York City, and I was like, oh, that'd be a great movie.
Yeah.
All I needed some snow, and then 14 years later it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That was a good day.
That video is one of my personal favorites.
Thanks.
It just looks incredible. And it looked like a blast.
It was fun. It was fun.
I
Yeah.
can imagine. So how early is the inception kind of, or the thought for content? Is it always like 15 years out? Is it a couple years out?
No, it's so like a lot of the stuff that I make, especially the stuff that now that feels more like a vlog, which I try to do with some frequency. The vlog stuff's always just like wake up and like what story do I want to tell today? What am I doing today that feels interesting? And then I share that story, and that's almost no premeditation. I always say like I capture my day as best I can, and then when I'm editing I try to find a story, and I figure out what story do I want to share. But other videos like snowboarding, or I'm working on a video right now for the 4th of July.
Okay.
Okay, this is not a joke. All right, I was just in the hospital yesterday, and they wanted to remove my appendix.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't remove it because I have a video shoot next week for YouTube, and if you cut me open, I'm not going to be able to shoot my video. And the doctors understood, but like, this is a video I've been working on for a while. It's a major priority of mine, and I'm really excited about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you need the appendix removed?
Maybe someday.
Okay.
I mean, it's mine. They wanted to take it away
It's
from
yours
me.
to keep.
Yeah. Like, no, I want that. It'll leave that inside of my stomach.
Wow.
Yeah.
So can you give any,
I'm working on figuring out how to surf in New York City.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's the 4th of July video concept.
Wow.
Yeah, it seems very patriotic.
We're all very excited to see
I've got a red, white, and blue Speedo that I'm gonna wear for the whole video. I should really bring in the clicks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hopefully it doesn't get demonetized.
Let's hope not. Let's.
Awesome. So you talked about, creating with a passion. What about when you're navigating branded partnerships? You've done some awesome work with Nike, like the Fuel Band video was incredibly iconic.
Yeah, my first breakout videos.
Yeah.
So it wasn't great.
So how do you kind of choose like which brands to work with?
I mean, it's tough. I think that it's easier for someone like me. Like once you found your audience, it's a lot easier to figure out which brands to work with. For me, it's always like, is it something interesting? If it's a toothpaste company, it's tough. Like, I don't know what the alignment is there, but if it's a company like Nike that has a brand message that's like, just do it,
right?
I love that. And it has, you know, there's no sneak that whole video. Like, that video is about Samsung to the same degree. Like, Samsung's do what you can't message. Their whole, you know, the whole messaging behind the Galaxy line is enabling creators.
Yeah.
So it's less about a product and more about an idea, and that's something that I relish in. So when I looked at what brand opportunities seem interesting enough for me to pursue, it's always the brands that have a message that sort of dovetails what I think my content represents.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for aspiring creators? Because they definitely get approached with a lot of different branded opportunities. You know, sometimes it's just like, hey, we'll send you this, whatever, this toothbrush, and we want you to post about it. What advice do you have for up and coming
I think
creators?
It's tough. If you're an aspiring creator, the first rule is like, whatever it takes to survive. So if that means, you know, if that means like if there's a company that's willing to write you a check for something, like, and it doesn't compromise your integrity, do it. But in the same respect, I think that there are certainly opportunities to be taken advantage of. You know, like, we'll send you a free pair of shoelaces if you'll do 20 branded videos for us. It's not a good deal for creators. So I think when you're starting out, it's about finding opportunities that actually elevate, you know, your burgeoning brand. But I would never say no to opportunities when you're coming up, because it is just a slog and a struggle, and it's scary and it's hard and it's miserable. So if an opportunity lands in front of you, I, you know, always dig to see if there's something deeper there than maybe what the transaction is.
Amazing. So we're on the Twitter stage. Naturally.
You got some Twitter questions for me?
We do. We're gonna jump into it. If you guys have any questions, tweet at Casey using the Ask VidCon hashtag right now, and we're gonna go in.
It's okay.
Rest in peace, Casey's mentioned right now. When did you sign up for Twitter? Do you remember? And like, what was the
Twitter story? Is that when my show on HBO was launching in like 2010, HBO was like, we want to do a lot of stuff promoting it on Twitter, and I was like,
right.
Cool. What's Twitter?
Really?
Yeah. And they were trying to explain to me the difference between a hashtag and an at mention. It didn't make any sense to me, and that's why I joined Twitter. Huge deal. But I've said this a million times before. YouTube notwithstanding, Twitter is my favorite social media platform.
Awesome.
By far. It's also the one, though, that when I read it before I go to bed, I've got horrible nightmares. So there's definitely
favorite.
Why is it my favorite? Because to me, Twitter is a reflection of what's happening in the world at any given moment. Like, if I want to know what's happening in my world, I click the at mentions. And if I want to know what's happening in the world, I just look to my feed.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite follow?
No, not really. I mean, my Twitter feed is really curated. It has less to do with friends and like people that I like, and much more to do with like news and politics and like differing opinions and stuff like that. So it can get combative in there at times, but it really is like super helpful to understand what's going on planet Earth at any moment.
Do you ever, I'm sure you do you have any interesting stories about someone random sliding into your DMs?
Yes, sort of, sometimes. I mean, I try to stay away from my DMs. Like, I typically don't open. It's just too much trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna open up Twitter right now.
Okay, I hope you guys ask good questions.
So, let's see.
It's good to be at VidCon. Man, look at all these people out there. I was supposed to be here 2 days ago and I missed my first day. I was really bummed. I got in last night at like midnight.
So, first question is from Thanu16, and he asks...
Is he here? Okay, proceed.
Okay. He said, my question for Casey is how and when do you decide to say no?
Like in life? Is this like a dating thing?
I think just opportunities. I don't know.
I mean, for me, okay, I'll answer that question. In business, when do I say no? And in business, I say no when it's going to benefit the company that wants to work with me more than it's going to benefit me. I think there has to be parity there. Like, it has to be as good for you as it is for me, otherwise the answer is no.
Yeah. That's a fair answer. Absolutely.
Totally fair.
Yeah. Parag2296 asks, who has been your role model and why?
Who has been my role model?
Yeah.
And why? A role model's tough. I mean, I have people that I consider mentors, like people that are close to me personally. I think of like one of my professors at MIT, who's just this brilliant, open-minded human who showed me the world of technology, and like he's somebody that I certainly aspire to be like. But then I also like, you know, the autobiography of Malcolm X is one of the books that I've read in my life that truly changed like the way I live and operate. And I look a lot to like historical figures, George Patton, World War II, like these are like the big, for me, like the godlike figures that I look up to and look for guidance in life.
What is it about anyone in particular that kind of guides your vision or inspires you?
Transformation. Like Malcolm X in particular, he's this autodidact who was thrown into jail for being a criminal.
Right.
When he came out, he had read so many books, he developed astigmatism in both eyes. And he went in a criminal and he came out, you know, someone who changed the very fabric of civil rights in this country. And like that idea of being that transformative by using your voice, by educating yourself, I mean, those are ideas that affect me and change me as a person.
That totally. And you've had an incredibly transformative. I mean, we talked about that. You've transformed as a person too, and evolved constantly over the years.
Yeah, and then look, YouTube's a big part of that. Social media is a big part of that. Like nothing exposes you to the world more than kind of what social media can do.
Next question. Amir Thuffel asks, what was the craziest experience you had while on a run?
Craziest experience I've had while on a run.
You run every single day, right?
Yeah, I was actually going to go running right after this. I ran yesterday after I got out of the hospital. I ran after I got out of the hospital yesterday.
What?
Okay, craziest running experience was in Afghanistan.
Wow.
I was there as a journalist embedded with these special forces, these like scary dudes. And we ran, and they ran with a firearm in their hand in case it was needed. And while we were running, they're like, whatever you do, don't go off the running path to the left or to the right because there are landmines.
What?
So that was kind of the craziest run experience I've ever had.
Literally ran through like a war.
Yeah, we got 11 miles in. Great run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you filming something?
I mean, I didn't have a camera with me on that run. They said don't bring anything shiny. It didn't seem like too big of a risk.
And you're just not about the treadmill life at that point.
No, I'm not into the treadmill life.
Wow, that's incredible, Casey.
There are so many babies this year at VidCon. There's just babies everywhere.
There's a lot of babies.
It's great.
It's awesome.
I was going to bring Francine, but she's busy today. Next question.
Okay. Next one is from Roish14.
Okay.
And he asks, what's the best thing to do in New York City?
Wow, that's a really hard question. I think the best free thing to do in New York City is to take the Staten Island ferry. Well, because they have the ferry that goes around the Statue of Liberty, and it's expensive, and there's like security, you gotta wait in line, there's all this nonsense. Then there's a ferry that goes right next to it, that goes to Staten Island. It's just commuters.
Okay.
It's free, you just get on it. They serve beer and pretzels and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, you just take it for free and come back, and you can wave at all the people who paid $80 for a ride on that. Yeah, it's the best I can offer tourists in New York City. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. This young lady in the front.
I like that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Is there a way to figure out if the people are here that ask those questions? No. Okay.
No, not really.
Okay.
But yeah.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Okay. Perhaps.
Perhaps if they get excited when we call them out. Somebody asked, Arm Shraham asked, where are you headed next? Country-wise and travel-wise.
Okay, my goal for this year is to travel, and this is the first time ever in my adult life, was to travel as little as possible. I'm failing miserably.
Because you want to spend more time with the family?
Yeah, because Candace is like pregnant and the baby's 3, but I mean, where I'm going is nowhere particularly exciting. Like we can travel for like 2 more months before we can't travel anymore because of, because of the baby. So we have like some very mild family beach trips coming up, but like
nice.
As far as exciting international travel, we're trying to put that on hold. We are planning on taking both babies to South Africa this winter, which should be a mission.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What, personally, do you have any advice with respect to traveling? Because I know a lot of people and a lot of creators and fans, again, aspire to be like you. Maybe they don't have a passport yet, or maybe they haven't left the country. Do you think that's do you have any advice for aspiring travelers?
I think that travel's been like overly romanticized because of social media.
For sure.
Like my sister is taking some great trip to Greece and she's staying at this like obscenely expensive hotel for one night just so she can get the Instagram post. And I was like, why are you doing that? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So my advice, because I was a really broke traveler for a really long time, and I would always like travel by car or by train. Like traveling by land, you learn so much more than by flying to locations. And I think that it's also a lot more cost effective.
For sure.
Yeah, I hitchhiked around Europe when I was 19 or 20 years old, so I just couldn't afford like a Eurail pass. I couldn't afford the train pass.
Yeah.
Maybe don't hitchhike, or if you did, don't do it because, don't say you did it because I suggested it.
Be safe.
Hitchhiking is awesome.
Well, Casey, we're out of time right now.
Is that it?
Yeah, unfortunately. But
oh, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah.
You made a video for me? How would I see it? Did you send it? Did you tweet it to me? Do that again, and I'll check it out. Your child hunger sucks lollipop. Okay, I'm coming to get it. Yeah, I always get in trouble when I do this. Thank you. That's OG right there. Guys, I think,